He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us as we are wrapping up day number 9 of the Jaguar coaching search. And the silly season has begun with all the rumors, all the scuttlebutt, the information that's out there about this candidate, about that candidate. I got some thoughts on that we'll get to in just a moment. But I guess the big news of the day is that Liam Cohen is interviewing for the Jacksonville Jaguar head coaching position. I believe it is a virtual interview. In-person interviews with teams or with guys that are on teams cannot begin until next week. So I believe it's a virtual interview, and one would believe as well that perhaps it's still going on, because to my knowledge, the Jaguars have not sent out a tweet or a post on X saying we've completed our interview with Liam Cohen, as most teams do, including the Jaguars. So potentially Liam Cohen is talking to Shad Khan right now about the head coaching vacancy here in Jacksonville. He is the 6th known interview. He joined Steve Spagnuolo, Patrick Graham, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, who else? Robert Saleh. Today, Liam Cohen. We know Friday, Brian Flores is scheduled. That will be the 7th interview that the Jaguars have done. And keep in mind, usually there's a round 2 of interviews. This is just the first round of interviews. Now, the last coaching search, when they found Doug Peterson, I believe that took roughly 30 or 31 days. We're only into day number 9 right now. So this thing is going to be a process. There is absolutely no question about that. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. Because of the Liam Cohen news that he is interviewing today here in Jacksonville, we will go to Tampa, Florida. Our guy down in Tampa is Zach Blobner. He's been on the sports scene down there for many years. And one of the things I like about Zach is he also spent time here in Jacksonville when he was on 930 for a little bit of time. So he knows the Jacksonville market. He obviously knows the Tampa market. He covered Liam Cohen every day last year in Tampa. So I'm going to ask him about Liam Cohen, the coach he is, what he brought to that organization with the Buccaneers, but also how a guy like Cohen would fit in, quite frankly, to a market like Jacksonville. Zach has spent time in both Tampa and here on the First Coast, and we'll have Zach Blobner coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. Coming up towards the top of the 9 o'clock hour, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly on Hacker After Dark. Not only will we talk about the Jaguar coaching search with a former Jaguar Pro Bowler, we'll also spend some time on the NFL playoffs. What a novel concept, right? Divisional round is approaching. 4 really good games on paper, and we'll spend some time with each one of those with Leon Searcy. That comes up towards the top of the 9 o'clock hour. But as always, we're glad you're with us here on a Wednesday evening. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal on Hacker After Dark.
So I mentioned at the top the silly season, the rumor season, and that's absolutely true when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can talk to one league insider, and they will tell you one thing. 20 minutes later, you can talk to another league insider, and they will tell you another. And what I mean by that is, let's just examine today, right? Let's talk about the last 12 or so hours. Well, Joe Brady made news here in Jacksonville as a couple people of ESPN have connected Joe Brady to the Jaguars. Ben Johnson made the rounds, rumor mill-wise, here in Jacksonville as people are connecting the dots with him. Robert Saleh, who interviewed yesterday, people believe he is very much in play here in Jacksonville. We talk about Liam Cohen, again, interviewing today. So Cohen, Johnson, Robert Saleh, and Joe Brady. Also, Ian Rappaport throws out that Aaron Glenn is potentially in play here in Jacksonville, along with the Jets and along with potentially the Saints. That's just the last 12 hours. In the last 12 hours, 5 of the candidates have been linked one way or another, either by rumors, by reports, or by league insiders to the Jacksonville head coaching vacancy. Honestly, you know what I think that means? I don't think it means anything. I don't think people have the slightest idea what Jacksonville is doing. I don't think anybody has a clue. Now, maybe it will be Ben Johnson, or maybe it will be Liam Cohen, or maybe it will be Joe Brady, or maybe it will be Robert Saleh, or yes, maybe it will be all the other guys we've talked about. Brian Flores is another one that interviews on Friday. It could be any number of these guys. So somebody, some outlet is going to be proven to be right by process of elimination. Odds are one of those 5 or 6 guys I just mentioned will indeed be the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So somebody in 2 weeks or whatever can say, yep, I knew it. I knew it all along. Well, yes and no. They're probably guessing now, but based on the process of elimination, somebody or some outlet or numerous outlets will be proven to be right. Let me tell you what I think. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It's partly what I think, but a majority of my comments coming up here are the vibe that I'm getting from friends and family and also people that I communicate with on social media. You know, we talk about the term Clemsoning back in the day, right? Clemson was going to find a way to lose a game they shouldn't lose. Well, I've heard from 2 different buddies that are season ticket holders here in Jacksonville and have been for quite some time. They said it a little bit different ways, but the premise was basically the same. They said the Jaguars are going to Jaguar. And what they meant by that was, and I asked them, because I said, I'm probably going to bring this up on the air. And they said, yeah, bring it up on the air. When they say the Jaguars are going to Jaguar, they're basically envisioning the worst possible scenario imaginable. And that's what they think is going to happen here. To me, Jaguar fans have been beaten down so much, really historically, but primarily in the last 12 or 13 years. Look at that 64 and 148 records since Shad Khan took over the team. That most, if not all, Jaguar fans just imagine the worst thing is going to happen. Worst possible scenario. It doesn't matter about all the positive rumors. It doesn't matter about all the positive feedback. It doesn't matter. Anything positive doesn't matter. Because ultimately, like they told me today, they believe the Jaguars are going to Jaguar. And when I thought about that, I thought, yeah, I can kind of see that from a fan perspective. This organization, this team, they have let you down time after time after time. Both on the field and what they've done in decisions off the field. You thought Justin Blackmon was the next big thing. Substance abuse got the best of him. Addiction got the best of him. They draft Blake Bortles in the top 5. Doesn't work out. They draft Jalen Ramsey. You think he got a great corner in the top 5. He wants more money, fakes a back injury, and leaves. You got a really good pass rusher, Unique Ngakoue, demanded a trade. Blaine Gabbert, you draft him in the top 15. Doesn't work out. Leonard Fournette, a top 5 running back, is out of Jacksonville by the time he's 26. All the head coaches you could have brought in here. You've settled on Gus Bradley, Doug Marrone, Urban Meyer, and Doug Peterson. You want Trent Baalke gone, collectively as a fan base. You do. That's the overwhelming thought. And yet Trent Baalke has more lives than Michael Myers and Freddie Krueger combined. He just keeps getting up. You keep knocking him down. Decisions keep knocking him down, but he just keeps getting up, ladies and gentlemen. For some of you, Trent Baalke is probably the ultimate villain. The Jaguars are going to Jaguar. And my response to that is this. I agree with you. The Jaguars are going to Jaguar until they do not Jaguar. And what do I mean by that? Yeah, they're probably going to make the bad decision. A poor decision. Until one day they finally won't do that. You could argue Brian Thomas Jr. is living proof of that. And hopefully this next head coaching hire will be living proof of that. I get that you think the worst thing imaginable is going to happen. The Jaguars have earned their reputation. They're going to have to prove to you, the Jaguar fans, that they can put some positivity in your life. And while I agree with what my friend said earlier to me today, that they believe the Jaguars are going to ultimately Jaguar and make a wrong decision on this coach, I have the hope, I have the positive outlook that, yeah, the Jaguars will probably Jaguar until they don't Jaguar, until they make, finally, that right decision. And whether that's Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, Joe Brady, Aaron Glenn, Robert Saleh, whoever it is, the hope is, and it's all we got right now, the hope is that this time the Jaguars do not Jaguar. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts are always welcome here on a Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Liam Cohen interviewing today for the Jacksonville Jaguar head coaching opening. We know the great job he did in Tampa Bay. Keep in mind, he was only in Tampa for 1 year. Heck, he's only been an offensive coordinator in the NFL for 2 years, right? He had the 1 year under Sean McVay as the coordinator with the Rams. Then he was the OC at the University of Kentucky, where he worked with Will Levis. And then this past year, he was the offensive coordinator in Tampa. We saw what he did with Baker Mayfield. We saw what he did with a Buccaneer offense that was at times decimated with injury. Remember, they lost Chris Godwin halfway through the year. They lost Mike Evans for a handful of games. Yet it didn't seem to matter. Tampa Bay did a fantastic job. Liam Cohen was a big part of that. Let's talk Liam Cohen. Let's talk about the guy he is. Let's talk about how Liam Cohen might fit into our community. Zach Blobner's been on the sports scene in Tampa for many years, but prior to going to Tampa, he was a producer in his younger years here in Jacksonville back on 930 back in the day. We'll talk with Zach Blobner, who's been in Tampa for a while, formerly in Jacksonville, about Liam Cohen and how he feels Liam Cohen would integrate himself into our community. Zach Blobner down in Tampa joins me next. Hacker After Dark on a Wednesday evening here in Northeast Florida. And we're glad you're with us. 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Every game is a story.
And the game is tied.
Every play is a moment waiting to happen.
We're going to overtime.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL.
Hacker here with a question. Was your goal to lose weight this year? If so, are you already down 31 pounds? Now, that's a serious question because I dropped 31 pounds my first 3 weeks alone with Awaken 180 weight loss. Now, I had more to lose than most, but Dempsey, Matt Hayes both dropped 18 in their first 3 weeks. That's how fast the weight can fall off when you choose the solution for weight loss. Where am I now? I'm down over 115 pounds. My goal was to lose 100, but my new goal is to be under 200 pounds for the first time since I was in college. The results are real, and the results are fast with Awaken 180. Whether you're not seeing these types of results with your new weight loss program, or if you've already given up, don't. Do what we all did and make the call to Awaken 180. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait, but
That's right, Marty. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners. So you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
The big game is almost here, and Sonny's Barbecue wants you to win a barbecue feast. Text Sonny's to the text line brought to you by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010 for your chance to win. 641-1010.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, dill ball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage too.
1010XL's running game takes a giant step forward.
Well, Fred Taylor is the whole package.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on the drill. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Yup,
E.T. here. And are you a golfer or a runner? Well, Clay County has you covered. The Hellcat 5K and 10K on Saturday, January 18th is at the historic Lee Field in Green Cove Springs, winding through a historic World War II naval base. Then, February 5th through the 7th, watch the top talent compete in the 2025 Clay County Open at Eagle Harbor Golf and Country Club. This pro tournament boasts golfers chasing the PGA Tour dream. For info on both events, visit the event calendar on exploreclay.com.
Ring in the new year with a new boat. Don't miss the Jacksonville Boat Show, January 24th, 25th, and 26th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. Presented by ViStar Credit Union. Tickets at boatjacks.com. Come buy a boat.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. We are over a weekend of the Jaguar head coaching search. We all know the names. We've talked a lot about them. One of the guys at the top of the list is now officially available, Liam Cohen, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers season came to an end on Sunday evening. Let's talk about Liam Cohen. Could he be in play here in Jacksonville? And for that matter, could he even be in play down in Tampa? And we'll explain that in just a moment. Zach Blobner's been on the sports scene in Tampa for many years. He's always kind enough to join us to talk Buccaneers here on 1010XL. Zach, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Wish I had more Buccaneer football coming up, but it'll have to wait until next fall.
Yeah, tough loss against the Commanders. Obviously, we want to focus on Liam Cohen, but that was not the way you want a season to end, with a doink and an N from 37 yards to give Washington the big victory.
Not at all. But the old cliche, game of inches, right? And in the postseason, I think that's magnified even more so. The doink in is the resounding sound that'll kind of stick in our ears, but you know, it'll be the image of Baker Mayfield and that fumble that led to a Washington touchdown, and the, you know, messed up snap count that led to a field goal versus a touchdown for the Bucs late in that game. Just, you know, little things that, again, you really can't get away with and find a win when it comes to the postseason, not in the National Football League at least. So still a good season for that club, and I know that, you know, they're all disappointed that they're not still playing, but Washington, they made them pay. So credit to Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels and that squad for going on the road and coming to Raymond James Stadium and finding success.
All right, Zach, you're familiar with Jacksonville. You spent time up here. You've been in Tampa now for many years. Obviously, our audience is very familiar and very interested with Liam Cohen. So let's get into that conversation. But first and foremost, I heard a rumor last week, and you tell me, you're much closer to it, that if Tampa Bay lost to Washington, which they obviously did, that there was at least a conversation about Todd Bowles potentially being in some trouble and maybe Liam Cohen getting promoted to head coach. Was that just a rumor, or could there potentially be something to that?
Well, there's definitely precedent, right? It happened with Dirk Cutter years ago when I believe it was Lovie Smith in charge at the time, and they moved on from him because they wanted to keep Dirk Cutter around so that Jameis Winston had an offensive-minded guy to kind of guide him as the number one pick in draft heading from Tallahassee to the Buccaneers. So the Glazers, the owners of the team, have shown that they're willing to do that exact thing. And I think that's why you have a lot of fans and people kind of saying, oh, maybe this is that case. Not comparable to last year. And regardless, they did win a game in the postseason and played really well in the second round against Detroit. But I don't think Dave Canales was ever in play in that way. Obviously, he got a head coaching gig in Charlotte with the Carolina Panthers, and Byron Leftwich the year before that he's just not coaching now at all. So it's a little different from the last two seasons, because I think Liam Cohen is a legitimate guy that can take over a head coaching role somewhere, and I think the Glazers see that as well. Some very big differences between Cohen and Canales, and again, bringing up Dave because he was the OC last year, but he also became a head coach after one season. Liam Cohen is a much better play caller. He's a much better communicator in terms of describing why he does things and why he operates in a way on offense that I just didn't get from Dave Canales when he was here. So the same reasons why I think he'd be a good head coaching candidate, I'm sure the Glazers also think he'd be a good head coaching candidate. I just don't know how quickly, if at all, they'd be willing to move on from Todd Bowles right this second, even if it was to keep a guy like Liam Cohen around and make him the head coach, only because with Dirk Cutter, even though that's the precedent, it didn't work out with him, right? And Todd Bowles has won more every season he's been the head coach, from 8 to 9 to 10 wins, division titles. Obviously, you want more, but his floor is pretty damn high so far these last 3 seasons.
Zach Blobner is our guy down in Tampa. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Liam Cohen, let's talk about him. What did he bring to that Buccaneer offense? Because from afar, Zach, it looks like Baker Mayfield had a phenomenal year. Bucky Irving was a ridiculous find. You look at all the injuries they had with Mike Evans and obviously Chris Godwin, and the Buccaneer offense was darn near sensational a large majority of the time. Is that in large part to Liam Cohen's play calling?
I think so. I think just his approach, and I think he is a chip off the old block when it comes to Sean McVay. He comes from that tree. It was one of the things we got excited about in Tampa Bay when he took the OC role last fall to come on board and be a part of this team, and it showed up on the field. I mean, just the way that he approaches it is very much a fit in today's National Football League and the offensive game plans that he came up with. He's not afraid to get creative. He's not afraid to make adjustments if something is or isn't working and lean into it or go away from it. And look, whether it's making a guy like Mike Evans shine, he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. He's also getting older, but he didn't look it most of the year. Or if it's a younger guy like Bucky Irving, rookie running back who bursts onto the scene, could have been second, third on the depth chart wherever when the year started. He ends up being the lead guy over Rachaad White and others. I mean, Liam Cohen he pushed all the right buttons and he was able to adjust. He's a quarterback's coach. He was a former quarterback himself. He comes from a coaching family. So he's got the background, and he's got great relationships with the signal callers that he does work with, whether it was Will Levis in Kentucky, where he was at in between his stint with the Rams and McVay and coming to play or a coach for the Bucs, or Baker Mayfield. Him and Baker have a great relationship too. So just a lot of great things. I don't really have too much bad to say about Liam Cohen. I mean, I think he hits all the buttons.
Zach Blobner here with us. Zach, you got a unique perspective. You spent time in Jacksonville. You've been in Tampa now for quite some time. You certainly know both markets, and you know Liam Cohen. How would Liam Cohen, in your opinion, fit into the Jacksonville market with the fan base?
I got to be honest. I think he'd be a phenomenal fit. I'd hate to see him leave the Bucs. Obviously, I know Tampa Bay fans want to keep him around. Again, to your point, even some saying they'd rather have him as the head coach and not lose him if that means that it's moving on from Todd Bowles' time. But I think Liam Cohen would be great in Jacksonville. I think he'd be great for Trevor Lawrence. I think he'd be great for the offense, not just for the quarterback, but all the weapons, whether it's Brian Thomas Jr. continuing to excel as a young receiver, figuring out the running back situation, just all around. I think he'd be really good there. And again, I think, fans and media alike would appreciate his ability to communicate why he does things, whether he's digging into the X's and O's, because he's really good at that. And he takes his time, but he goes through it pretty thoroughly, which I appreciated. Or if it's just, talking on a personal basis, like I think he would do really well up in Jacksonville. He'd be a really good fit. It would really heavily depend on, who his DC was in terms of whether or not the team found success. But I think it would be a pretty good situation for both Liam and for the Jags if those two linked up this offseason.
It's hard to judge this, obviously, but again, you're closer to it than we are up here. Any idea if, and again, it's if Liam Cohen were to leave, if anybody would come with him from Tampa?
Yeah, so it's interesting because obviously even a year ago, Dave Canales, when he left for the Panthers, he took a few of the people with him from the receivers coach, Brad Idzik, who ended up being his OC, and I think there were a couple others. You got to think that Liam would probably want to, but I don't know how many guys that were brought in were like his guys. You know what I'm saying? And compared to what Dave Canales did, he was friends with some of the cats that came with him that left with him to Charlotte as well, from Tampa Bay to Carolina. For instance, like Thad Lewis is still a part of this coaching staff, has been for years, but he's not tied to Liam Cohen. So I could see Liam like wanting to bring some of the guys with him. I don't know. It's hard to say. And then again, you look at his past where he was OC on Kentucky. I would think that maybe there's some guys from his time there that he might want to bring along with him. in LA, a lot of the guys he worked with are elsewhere. Like the Falcons, obviously, with Zach Robinson and some of the other folks with the Rams. When Raheem left, he took those guys. So I don't think there's nobody that sticks out that I would say for sure Liam would bring with him to Jacksonville if he did take that job. It's a little bit harder and murkier than when Dave Canales left in terms of connections.
And Zach, as we wrap up, I mean, look, I guess if there is any concern that some people up here have, it's that Liam Cohen only has just a couple years as an NFL offensive coordinator, right? I think 1 year as the OC with the Rams, 1 year as the OC with the Bucks. He's in his late 30s. But listening to you, it doesn't sound like you would be all that concerned about that.
No, I don't have any concerns about his ability. I mean, you never know, right, with the head coaching situation, because it's so different running an offense and calling plays and also running the entire organization essentially from a coaching standpoint. And that's what makes it so hard to project whether an OC or a DC is going to be a good head coach, because there's just more to it. But Liam, in terms of what I've seen from him up close and personal the last 12 months, he checks all the boxes, as we like to say in this business. So, he loves calling plays. He's got a football background. He's got great relationships with the players, and he comes from the McVay tree. I mean, what else do you want, right? Like, again, for what we do know, he seems like a great fit in the unknown area. You can apply to anybody who would take over the head coaching role, because fits can seem good and not be good. Fits can seem bad and work out. So, no guarantees, but I truly do think, looking at what Liam's done, his body of work this year, his background, the way he handles his players, I think him and Trevor Lawrence would get along really well, and I think the offense would really start humming in Jacksonville if Liam ended up there.
There is no doubt Liam Cohen's name certainly in play here when it comes to the Jaguar head coaching search, and we will have to see how it all plays out. Zach Blobner is our guy down in Tampa. He's been on the sports scene down there for years. Zach, I know you're busy. Thank you as always for the time, pal. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
There you go, Zach Blobner down in Tampa. Appreciate his time talking about Liam Cohen a little bit. Again, Liam Cohen in Jacksonville, or I guess not in Jacksonville, but interviewing virtually with the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Again, the sixth known interview, right? They've already interviewed Patrick Graham, who we really didn't even talk much about, the defensive coordinator with the Raiders, Steve Spagnuolo, both Lions guys, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, Robert Saleh, now Liam Cohen. They are scheduled to talk with Brian Flores as well on Friday. And again, we're only 9 days into this thing. That's the one thing I will give the Jaguars a lot of credit for here. Well, there's actually a couple of things. The transparency, right? They're keeping people within reason pretty up to date on everything that's going on. People they want to talk to, people they have talked to, everything along those lines. And they've acted pretty quick. They've done 6 interviews in 9 days. They will conduct their 7th interview on Friday. So you're talking about 7 head coaching interviews in less than 2 weeks. So they are doing their due diligence. They're talking to a lot of different people. You got to at least commend them for that. Appreciate that aspect. And again, there's all sorts of rumors out there. That's what I find most interesting about this coaching search is, most league insiders, if you're considered a league insider with Fox or with NFL.com or ESPN or whomever, right? Odds are most of the time, not always, but most of the time, you're going to kind of line up your ducks in a row. You're going to have basically the same story because you're going to be getting the same information from the same few sources that are inside a building. Not really this time. I mean, you got Albert Breer saying one thing. You got Diana Rossini saying another. You got Ian Rappaport saying one thing. I mean, it's wild, the amount of stories that are coming out. And then you go back to my interview last night with Jason Cole, which, again, got a lot of response on social media. If you missed that conversation, feel free to go check it out, 1010XL.com on demand. And all the things he had to say about things he had heard personally about how it all went down with Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke here in Jacksonville. And there's just a lot of stuff right now. Another NFL League insider, Denmark, I know you listened to this earlier, is Jeff Darlington. Jeff Darlington, who's covered the league for years, both with the NFL Network, now ESPN. He was asked about the Jaguar job, and primarily that of Ben Johnson, because all eyes are looking at Las Vegas now. Las Vegas with Tom Brady overseeing the coaching search. Everybody's saying Vegas, Vegas, Vegas for Ben Johnson. In fact, we're going to go to Vegas tomorrow night. Our guy Adam Hill of the Las Vegas Review-Journal and ESPN Radio in Las Vegas will join us to talk about the dynamic of Ben Johnson and the Vegas Raiders. But that's all you're seeing right now on social media. Well, okay, I'm not disputing that. But listen to what Jeff Darlington, NFL insider, ESPN, had to say just earlier today about Ben Johnson and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And his ability to coach Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see if they can maybe get a meeting with him. Now, the Jaguars, I want you to listen carefully here, because I keep hearing from coaching candidates that this is actually the most coveted job available right now. And I think it's going under the radar. And I keep hearing that Ben Johnson actually has his eyes squarely on that Jaguars position. I'm not saying that that's his top choice, but I am saying that that is a job that really interests him. Now, the Trent Baalke situation with him currently holding the position of general manager does throw a bit of a wrench into this, but I'm telling you, I have spoken to several different candidates who say that Jaguars job is the one that a lot of coaches are eyeing as the one that they want.
And who really knows what to believe? But I do believe that. I mean, if you look at the 6 current job openings, because the Patriots have already been filled, all right, the Jaguar job is considerably better than the Saints. I don't think there's any disputing that. Keep in mind, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Trayvon Walker, Joshua Hines-Allen, Foye Oluokun, Tyson Campbell, right? To say there's not pieces here would be wrong. Anton Harrison. You got some things you can certainly work with. And you got 6 draft picks, I believe, in the top 120 picks in April's draft. Because you got 2 third-rounders and 2 fourth-rounders, and you have the number 5 pick overall. But Jacksonville, I would put that job way above New Orleans. The New York Jets, I would put Jacksonville above them. They have some nice players, but you don't know what you're doing at quarterback. There's a thought that Garrett Wilson wants out of there. You don't know if Devontae Adams is going to come back. They got some problems in New York. So, yeah, I would absolutely put the Jaguar job ahead of the New York Jets job. The Raiders, are you kidding me? Who's the Raiders quarterback going to be? Who's the Raiders running back going to be? For that matter, who's the Raiders wide receiving core going to be? They got Brock Bowers. That's good. They got Max Crosby for now. That's good. But they don't have a lot. And you're in a division, mind you, with the Raiders, where you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in Kansas City. You got Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers. And you got what appears to be a pretty good combo of Sean Payton and Bo Nix with Denver. You got 3 playoff teams in your own division that you have to deal with. So I would put Jacksonville ahead of the Saints, ahead of the Jets, ahead of the Raiders. The Dallas Cowboys? All right. Dak Prescott, 32 years old. Who's your running game? What's your running game look like in Dallas? Your offensive line's getting old and retiring. You got CeeDee Lamb. That's great. What else do you have on offense? Defensively, you got Micah Parsons. That's unbelievable. He's great. What else is there on defense besides Micah Parsons? Admittedly, there are some guys, but not as many as you would think with America's team. And then finally, the Chicago Bears, and I'll go back to what I just said about the Raiders. With the Chicago Bears, you got 3 playoff teams in your own division with Jordan Love, with Jared Goff, And we'll see what Minnesota does, but Minnesota's got Justin Jefferson and an immense amount of talent. You got Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell, and Dan Campbell, all three of which aren't going anywhere for a long time. It is going to be a battle for the Bears in the NFC North. And then you got Jacksonville with the talent I mentioned in a division that's awful, an awful division. No state sales tax, plenty of cap room, draft picks. I mean, look, I try my best not to be biased here, not to wear my teal goggles on a nightly basis, and for the most part, I think I do a pretty good job of that. But just being real here, being honest, yeah, this Jaguar job, if it's not the best job of the six, it's the second best. I think the only other one you could even argue is Chicago. And again, I would put Jacksonville above Chicago because of the division they have to deal with. We'll see what happens. But needless to say, there are a lot of rumors. It seems to be a daily rumor. What's the daily rumor? Can't wait to see what tomorrow has in store for us because it seems to change every 24 hours or so. We'll get back into the National Football League. I also want to spend some time on a tough loss last night for Gator basketball. Tough loss. It's a bad loss. I don't care if Missouri's 13-3 or not. You're ranked number 5 in America. You're at home, and you lose a game like that. It's a bad loss. How will that affect Florida moving forward? Also, Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, joins me in less than 20 minutes on a Tuesday evening. Or it's Tuesday, rather. No, wait. Wednesday evening. What am I doing? A Wednesday evening. Good heavens. We already had our Tuesday. Wednesday evening here on Hacker After Dark. We're glad you're with us. It's 1010XL, and it's 92.5 FM.
He's in a shotgun now.
Follow every play, interview, and press conference
When we're balanced, it's hard for the defenses to adjust.
on the home of the Jaguars, 1010XL.
What's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T here, and it's a brand new year, which means a brand new you, especially in the bedroom. So if you're ready to make 2025 the year to level up where it counts, let me make it a little easier for you. Get yourself some Blue Chew. They've got a chewable tablet that has the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxon. That means you're getting top-tier performance, my boy, without leaving the house. Blue Chew comes right to your front door in a discreet package, so your neighbors won't even know what's going on. But you will. No doctor's offices and no pharmacy run. Just licensed medical providers helping you find the right prescription. And guess what? They're made right here in the USA. Oh, and did I mention it's free? Yeah, you heard me. Your first month is free. So what you waiting for? Visit BlueChew.com and get a consultation. And start your year off with confidence to keep things interesting in that bedroom. Get that Blue Chew at BlueChew.com, baby. Let's make this year unforgettable.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PEC to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text PEC to 321-321. That's PEC to 321-321.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida.
We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Good teachers and coaches get the most out of their Scholar Athletes. That's why 1010XL salutes the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
Matt A's here for Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Don't go through another year with all that high-interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Prosser here, and Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and personal loans, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. You can. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 904-999-1508, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free quote now with no hard credit pull at 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, Hicken here with a message from Zero Res. Guess what? We love rugs. We'll treat your fine Oriental rugs with tender, loving care they deserve. How about Gerard, the Zero Res rug cleaning manager, one of the few certified master rug cleaners in the state of Florida? If you want your rugs cleaned with tender, loving care, call Zero Res. Right now, have one rug washed and we'll wash a second rug free. That's right, buy one, the second one on me. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
From one sports fan to another, this is Andrew Gibson with 1010XL. And now is the time to order your Valentine's flowers from Kuhn Flowers. Do it today, and you won't be scrambling at the last minute. KuhnFlowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Taking you up till 10 o'clock, as we do every night. Hacker After Dark here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. Back into the Jaguar coaching search and the National Football League in just one moment. I did want to mention last night, well, that's a bad loss for the Gator basketball team. I mentioned this today. I did the Awaken 180 number of the week on the 1010XL social media platform. And my number was 2,587. Because it was 2,587 days between the Gators being in the AP Top 5 in men's basketball December 4th, 2017, and they were not in it again until 2 days ago, January 13th, 2025. 2,587 days, or 369 weeks ago. That was how long it was between AP Top 5 rankings for the Gator basketball program. And what do they do after that period of time and finally getting back in the top 5? They play an unranked Missouri team in the O'Connell Center in Gainesville, and they lose 83-82 last night. And there were parts of that game where Missouri was darn near up 20. They were up 16 at the half. Now, It's commendable that Florida fought back and clawed their way back and were as close as they were. But at the end of the day, you lost to an unranked team at home. That's a terrible loss. Now, the SEC is a very good basketball conference. And as we said last night, I mean, Missouri was unranked, but they were 13-3. They had a victory over Kansas on their resume. It's a good basketball team. But in the SEC, they're 7th, 8th, 9th best. And I'm sorry, if the middle-of-the-pack team in your own conference comes into your gym on a Tuesday night in January and beats you, that cannot be anything more than a bad loss. Now, what will be interesting is how Florida responds to that beginning this Saturday against Texas. Florida, even in the loss to Kentucky, they scored 100 points. They've basically heard for the entire year how great they are, how Gator basketball is back, the job Todd Golden's done. I'm not going to throw stones in a glass house. I was saying that 24 hours ago when they were 15-1 and things were absolutely cooking and things were great. Now we'll see how they deal with a little bit of adversity. When an unranked team comes into your house and beats you and you're a top 5 team, that is a reality check. That is a maybe we shouldn't read our press clippings anymore. Maybe we should get back to work. And I'm curious to see what happens with the Gators. It could go one of two ways. They could get right back on track. They beat Texas. All is right with the world. Or if they lose to Texas, then we might have some real problems. We'll see what happens Saturday. Still 15-2. Florida will still be in the top 10 probably in America if they beat Texas when the next poll comes out. Nothing to be upset about, nothing to complain about. Just last night was actually a good reality check, I think, for Florida. I think this will help them because for the first time all year, today they woke up and they weren't great. They didn't hear how awesome they were. They heard how they got beat at home by an unranked Missouri team. And maybe that'll settle them, kind of center them a little bit as we get into the meat of the SEC schedule. Back into the National Football League, Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You get him every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. He joins us in less than 10 minutes. The Chicago Bears have finished their interview with Mike McCarthy, who was the Dallas Cowboy coach 48 hours ago, is now a free agent after his contract expired. It's interesting to see how teams are going about this coaching search. You got teams like New Orleans that have barely interviewed anyone yet. And you got a team like Chicago who's basically interviewing anybody who's ever called plays in their life. I think the Bears have already done in excess of 15 interviews, which is nuts, including some people that have not been interviewed anywhere else but Chicago. Meanwhile, Dallas is trying to get their ducks in a row. Their job just came open. The Jets have been fairly active. The Jaguars have been fairly active. I told you guys this last night. I've talked to enough people in New York that cover the Jets that say it's down to 2 for them. It's either going to be Brian Flores or Aaron Glenn. They're going to go defense, and it's either Flores or Glenn. And, in fact, the reports out earlier today that perhaps Aaron Glenn, and again, this would have been leaked, but perhaps Aaron Glenn is telling people close to him that the Jets are on the top of his list. I would love Aaron Glenn here in Jacksonville, but I would tend to doubt that happens at this point. I think it's going to be an offensive person. I think it's either going to be Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, or potentially Joe Brady. If it's not one of those three, I would tend to believe it's Robert Saleh at this point. I think Aaron Glenn is probably 5th on that list. But here we are in the middle of January, and there are still 6 jobs open in the National Football League. Reportedly, the Jaguars interviewed Liam Cohen today. We're still waiting to hear Again, normally teams will tweet out, hey, we've wrapped up our interview with so-and-so. I haven't seen that from any Jaguar social media yet. Maybe they're still talking at 9 o'clock at night. Who knows? But if we do see something in the next hour or so, we'll keep you updated. Coming up next, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. We'll certainly talk about the Jaguar coaching position. But I actually want to talk a little bit about the NFL playoffs. Divisional weekend is coming up. 8 teams, what looks like 4 terrific games. And let's break those down a little bit as well with Leon Searcy. He joins me next. It's Hacker After Dark here in the city of Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
I'm Doug Flutie from Boston College.
Throws it down.
And this is 1010XL.
Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. The Eagles win it.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, I'm meeting with my coach, Kate, tomorrow. I meet with her every week and have met with her every week dating back to last February. And she's a big reason why I've lost over 100 pounds on the Awaken 180 weight loss program. You get coaching. You get weekly coaching, weekly guidance. You make a game plan. Here's what I'm doing. I'm going on this trip. I have this party to go to. And you make a plan. And with that plan, you follow that plan, the weight continues to come off. Over 100 pounds down. That's my story. What's your story? If you want to make your Awaken 180 weight loss story, they can help you. They helped me. They changed my life. Do they need to change your life? Give them the opportunity. Go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com. Take it from me, who's lost over 100 pounds. Awaken 180 weight loss.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
It's New Year's resolution time, so why not skip the guilt and do something you'll actually stick to, like fixing that leaky faucet, unclogging that drain, or getting your AC ready for the summer.
Duck Rooter is here to help you keep this resolution. Investing in your home.
Start the year off right with Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Call us today at 904-862-6769, because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro-Jax Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at projaxroofingfl.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web. Precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Hey, Hicken here. Join me and Pross live from the new home of Tyson Sound Security this Friday morning. Grab a Chick-fil-A breakfast while you check out the golf simulators and home theater setups. Plus, enter for a chance to win a 75-inch Samsung TV with 3D surround sound and wireless subwoofer. Yeah, that's right, subwoofer, including full installation. Come see the drill live this Friday from the brand new showroom at Tyson Sound and Security, 3555 U.S. Highway 17, Fleming Island.
Mia here for Dreamfinders Homes. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now is your chance to lock down the rate and get in the game. You heard me right, a 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershome.com for more details.
What was George Washington's salary when he was president?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
George Washington's annual salary as president was $25,000, about $4.5 million in today's dollars.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Your home is your sanctuary, where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguar head coaching search continues. We know 5 people that have already interviewed, either virtually or in person. They're scheduled to talk with Brian Flores on Friday as this process continues, and it probably will continue for at least the next couple of weeks. Let's talk about the coaching search, where it stands right now, and let's actually talk about what should be a really good weekend of NFL divisional playoff action. A man that knows all about the NFL playoffs is my friend Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on Primetime, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, how are you, pal?
I'm good, bro.
Leon, we appreciate the time as always. I want to talk a little playoffs with you, but obviously the Jaguar head coaching search first and foremost. And look, we know of 5 guys that have already interviewed. We know of 5 other names that they're interested in interviewing. Leon, it's an interesting list. I think 5 offensive guys, 5 defensive guys, and clearly the headliner, at least the guy that everybody seems to want among the fan base, is still Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson.
Yeah. I mean, Ben Johnson, a guy that's kind of, risen among the ranks, and my poll is Brady.
Yeah.
I'm a prisoner of the moment. I know what I saw a week ago in that Buffalo's offense. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, that Buffalo's offense has a unicorn that we don't have, But I like the fact that Buffalo's offense with Joe Brady is run-orientated, set up play action, and then take your shots down the field. I think that could be beneficial to Trevor, that you get him an offensive line, you get him a run game. That's going to be Trevor's best friend. Trevor's best friend moving forward is going to be a solid offensive line, a run game where he can play action and then take his shots down the field. So right now on my big board, if it was my big board, if I had to draft right now, my number one pick would be Joe Brady. It would be Todd Monken. It would be Ben Johnson. And it would be Robert Saleh. That would be my big board right now, in my opinion.
Interesting. Liam Cohen did not make your top 4. What is it about him that maybe you have questions about?
I think because, I like Liam Cohen. He's innovative. The loss. Maybe it's the loss. Maybe it's the what. Listen, I'm human. I'm a victim of circumstances, all right? That Buccaneers team, when they lost to the Commanders, it shouldn't be a slight on him. I think Baker Mayfield played great in that game. Had some unfortunate things, turnovers that kind of cost him the game. I think I'm being a little biased. Maybe if they had a 1, he would have been on my big board. But the reason why I put Joe Brady at the top is because, of course, I saw that team orchestrate a blowout against a team that just was ill prepared for him, and he took over that. When he took over that offense about a year and a half ago, when they got rid of Ken Dorsey, they've hit it on all cylinders. So that's the reason why he's probably top of my list.
You hear Leon Searcy every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, it's interesting. You look at the 8 divisional teams that are left in the playoffs. There are some offensive guys, clearly. Andy Reid, obviously, Sean McVay, Nick Sirianni. But you look at the defensive guys, whether it's D'Amico Ryans, right? Dan Quinn, Sean McDermott. John Harbaugh was a special teams guy. And Dan Campbell, former tight ends coach, but by no means is he an offensive mastermind. To me, in my message all week, I know people want Ben Johnson and Cohen and Brady. You want the young offensive mind, and I get it. But, Leon, I'm at the point now where I don't care who they get. Offense, defense, whoever, they need to get the right guy. And if you get the right guy, everything else will fall into place.
I totally agree with you, Hack. Everybody's talking about, hey, we got to get an offensive guy here. It's got to help Trevor, whatever. But if you look in the playoffs, like you said, you've got some defensive-dominated mind coaches that are still playing in this game. And it all comes down to the assistant coaches. As much as we want to look at the figurehead, which is the head coach, which is very important, you've got to get the right assistants to help develop this talent and hold these players accountable. That's more important to me than anything else. Your mindset, whether you're offensive minded, you're defensive minded, that's key. That's absolutely important. But you got whoever your assistants are, who spend 95% of the time with the players to make sure that you build this culture, you build this mindset, that you build this organization into prominence. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for guys who are going to be tough, stern, steady, but fair, but hold you accountable, and has a bit of grit about himself and toughness. That's what I'm looking for in this coach. Any of those guys that we reeled off, if they've got that kind of mindset, then sign me up.
Well, yeah, and you look at it, Sean McDermott, defensive guy, went out and got Joe Brady, right? John Harbaugh, special teams background, goes and gets Todd Monken. Dan Campbell goes out and gets Ben Johnson. D'Amico Ryans goes out and gets Bobby Slowick. As you said, to me, it's all about the assistants as well, particularly the coordinators. You mentioned Robert Saleh, and I agree with you. I know he interviewed here on Tuesday. I see a lot of Jaguar fans, at least on social media, that are very lukewarm about Saleh. I think he could do a heck of a lot worse than Robert Saleh. Would he be my first choice? No, probably not. But he certainly wouldn't be my last choice either, Leon. If it landed on Saleh, I might be okay with that.
Yeah, I might be okay. But listen, I became a Robert Saleh fan watching Hard Knocks I became a fan of his because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of these players on this team, they just need some truth serum. They need to be told what they're doing and what they're not doing. I love Doug Peterson as a coach, he's a Super Bowl champion. But a lot of the stuff this team got away with, he just let it float. You could tell in the pressers where he just let stuff float away. He never let it be known that this group or this grouping or that grouping had a rough day. Robert Saleh, from that first time I saw him on Hard Knock, I mean, he would call groups out. If they weren't getting it done in practice, that's the most important. If they're not getting it done in practice, he would tell them. He made a point of emphasis that, hey, listen, this is not the standard. You either live up to the standard or you'll be replaced. I love that kind of stuff. I mean, and he's gritty. He looks like he's tough. He looks like he doesn't pull any punches. And I just think this team, this organization just needs someone like that, because a lot of these players who are getting paid all this money, I think they're a little better than I think they project themselves as a little better than what they are, and I think they need someone to bring them to ground zero.
Couple of more for former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy. You get him every week here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, as an offensive lineman like yourself, I'm sure you love what the NFL has kind of reverted back to. There was a time there where it was the wide open passing game, spread offense, and there's still a lot of that. But you look at Buffalo, as you mentioned. You look at what Baltimore did on the ground with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. You look at the running games that are just really Washington as well, with Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, obviously, what he's done in Philadelphia. There has been a resurgence of these running backs and of the running game, and I think you clearly saw that last week in Wild Card Weekend.
I love it, Hack. I love it. I mean, any offensive lineman will tell you that he likes to get his hands dirty. He likes to be physical. He likes to be able to come off the ball. I mean, no offensive lineman wants to spend 70% of his time going backwards. I mean, because you're retreating and pass protected. You want to set the tempo up front, be physical, double team, get into the second level, get down, get dirty. And I love it. I love these offenses now that are more geared towards the run game and then the play action game and then your shots down the field. And that's why I'm so excited. I hope Jacksonville is going in that direction. The ground and pound is going to take so much pressure off of Trevor, because your ability, you've got an offensive line that gets after it, and you got a running back that runs between the tackles and can break the tackles and get to the second level and get to the safety and outrun them. That's what we need here. And then you'll see Trevor not have the pressure that he's had on him to always make the play with the throw, because he has the play action to play around with, and he has a solid running game. And that's how you've got to build this team from the inside out, from your D lineman, from your O lineman, from your running game, and then you'll see this team flourish.
Leon, quickly, because I want to talk about the games, but you look at that Baltimore-Pittsburgh game as a prime example. I mean, the Pittsburgh defense could not stop the Raven rushing attack. I mean, Baltimore just took their will from them, just absolutely physically dominated them. What is that like as an offensive lineman when you run the ball 50 times? The defense is tired, you're beating them up, and in the third and the fourth quarter, you probably got them. That's got to be an awesome feeling.
It is. It's nothing more debilitating to a defensive front is that when you run the ball and you tell them you're going to run the ball and they have absolutely no answers for it. I've been in those situations, but mainly when I was with the Steelers, when I can recall a Cleveland game where we played against the Browns where we ran for almost 300 yards against them, and they kind of knew what we were going to be running. We only had really 5 plays that we literally ran, and we ran them all game, and they could not stop us. So, I mean, yeah, that's when as an offensive lineman, you feel like you're in a zone. You feel I've been in that zone, Hack. I can't explain what it is, but it's I don't know. It's this tingly feeling. I can't explain. All right. It just is when you got them on the ropes and they have no idea what to do, and you keep pounding at them. I mean, that is the offensive lineman's dream against any defense, that you just keep pounding them and they have no answers to what you're bringing to the table.
Final moments with Leon Searcy. Speaking of Baltimore, what a battle that should be on Sunday night. Baltimore traveling to Buffalo. The two guys that are One of them's going to win the MVP, either Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. You got James Cook against Derrick Henry, right? The two running backs, the two defenses, tough, physical. It's going to be cold in Orchard Park, New York. Man, what do you like between the Ravens and the Bills?
You know what's so crazy about this game, Hack, is that the KC-Houston game feels like the undercard.
Yeah.
This is the heavyweight fight right here. I believe that this is the potential MVP candidates. I mean, MVP posts has already been have already been cast. But I'm saying this is the title fight that everybody wants to see. As much as KC is favored, but these two teams right here, their styles of play, their styles of fight are similar. They're a mirror image of each other. They want to run the ball down your throat. They want to play action, and they got two unicorns. You got Josh Allen and you got Lamar Jackson, who are both phenomenal talents. I wouldn't even have a problem if the MVP was co-MVP, because both of these players, it'll be a shame. Whoever loses it'll be a shame. So I wouldn't mind co-MVPs as magnificent as these two players have been all season. But yeah, I'm looking for. Derrick Henry. You're talking about Cook. You're talking about two physical offensive lines. You're talking about the tight end play, the play action, the wide receiver play. It's going to be. It's going to be a great game. And everybody's talking about, Buffalo, it's going to be tough. Listen, at the end of the game, when the game is on the line, how does not Lamar Jackson has never failed us. Mm-hmm. He struggled against KC towards the end. It was a toe tap away from, actually winning that game. But when you give him the ball when it matters the most, he makes it happen. So I'm thinking that this game, whoever gets the ball at the end is going to probably end up winning the game.
Do you give Houston much of a chance going to Arrowhead to take on Mahomes and the Chiefs?
Well, the only chance I give them is that Houston's their booking defensive ends could cause some trouble for Patrick Mahomes. Daniel Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. Can get after it pretty good, and the Kansas City's kryptonite for their offense is their two tackles. So if they can put some pressures on Mahomes and they can cover and they can make them one-dimensional where they can't run the football and Mahomes has to throw the ball all the time. I'm not saying that they're going to lose. I'm just saying that they're going to make it a little difficult for Patrick Mahomes.
Leon, as we wrap up in the NFC, look, I think clearly the overwhelming favorites are Philadelphia and Detroit, both being at home. But I'll tell you, man, I think both need to be careful. That Rams team opened my eyes on Monday night. They whipped a 14-win Minnesota team. The Rams have been kind of under the radar all year. They're not under the radar any longer. And as far as Washington going to Detroit, look, that's a confident Washington team. After that win in Tampa, I think Detroit, although I'm probably going to pick them to win, I think both home teams in the NFC need to be very, very careful.
I was talking to a couple of Eagles fans, and they talked about the fact that they wanted the Rams because Saquon Barkley ran for almost 200 yards rushing against them again. And I said, you got to be careful what you hope for and wish for, because that Ram team looked legit. They looked dynamic offensively, and they got after it defensively. You get 9 sacks in a playoff game against any offensive line, any offense. That is a major accomplishment. Plus, you got to also remember, whatever you did in the regular season don't matter. The regular season and the playoff is two different beasts. The Eagles may have played well against the Rams in the regular season, but that was so long ago. There's a whole nother animal waiting for you in the cage in the playoffs. So you got to be careful not to poke the bear, because you might get bit.
I thought of you last week. I enjoyed a Big Sur cigar watching Wild Card Weekend. Maybe I'll do the same for the divisional round. Should be a lot of fun. You get Leon Searcy every day on XL Primetime, and we're lucky enough to have him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, enjoy all the playoff action. Who knows where the Jaguar coaching search will be next week, but we'll talk again soon, pal. Thank you as always.
You got it, bro.
Where incredible lives.
Every single player had an incredible moment.
1010XL.
What's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T here, and it's a brand new year,
which means a brand new you, especially in the bedroom. So if you're ready to make 2025 the year to level up where it counts, let me make it a little easier for you. Get yourself some Blue Chew. They've got a chewable tablet that has the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxyn. That means you're getting top-tier performance, my boy, without leaving the house. Blue Chew comes right to your front door in a discreet package, so your neighbors won't even know what's going on. But you will. No doctor's offices and no pharmacy run. Just licensed medical providers helping you find the right prescription. And guess what? They're made right here in the USA. Oh, and did I mention it's free? Yeah, you heard me. Your first month is free. So what you waiting for? Visit BlueChew.com and get a consultation. And start your year off with confidence to keep things interesting in that bedroom. Get that Blue Chew at BlueChew.com, baby. Let's make this year unforgettable.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait, but
That's right, Marty. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners. So you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account for this season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code JAX, J-A-X, to get $50 instantly when you play 5. That's code JAX on Prize Picks. $50 instantly when you play 5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we won and we got to bring
my thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hayes Blog on 1010XL.com.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166178. Subject to lender approval, NMLS, consumeraccess.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
With you till 10 o'clock right here, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Thank you to Leon Searcy. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, my buddy Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar. We'll continue the conversation about the Jaguar head coaching search, rumors going on, who we would like to see. Do you need an offensive guy? Do you need a defensive guy? Nope. As I said earlier in the week, I don't care who it is. Offense, defense, special teams. Get me the right guy. Is Liam Cohen the right guy? He's interviewing today, reportedly did interview today. We know the Jaguars have already talked with Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, Steve Spagnuolo, Robert Saleh, and Patrick Graham. They are scheduled to meet with Brian Flores on Friday as the search continues. We'll get more into this tomorrow and certainly on Friday as we close out the week here on Hacker After Dark. But, man, on paper, some really good division matchups in the NFL playoffs. Houston, Kansas City. I think Kansas City I saw is like a 9.5-point favorite. Denmark, you take the Chiefs and the points?
Yes.
So you think it's a blowout?
I don't know about a blowout, but, I mean, the Chiefs are a lot better than the Texans. It might be close at first, but the fourth quarter, I think the Chiefs kind of pull away at worst.
9.5-point favorites for the Chiefs. Then you got Saturday night. I think this game potentially could be really good. A young Washington team that doesn't know any better with a rookie quarterback playing a team that's got all the pressure in the world on them in Detroit because everybody wants to see them get to the Super Bowl. Jaden Daniels versus Jared Goff. That's going to be a good one Saturday night. Sunday afternoon, you got a team that's been under the radar the entire year that really no one has talked a lot about in the LA Rams. And all they've done is just continue to win. Division champions, knock out Minnesota. They go to Philadelphia. Philadelphia's got issues, right? A.J. Brown's ticked that he's not getting the ball. Saquon Barkley has been phenomenal. But, boy, that Rams defense was so good on Monday night. Can it translate again in Philly? And then, obviously, the game of the weekend is the last one, Sunday night, Baltimore at Buffalo. Denmark, you see the weather forecast for Buffalo?
Was this the game that has snow, or is it Philly?
No, it's snow in Buffalo. Projected weather of 11 degrees at kickoff. Wind chill will make it feel like 3 below zero with snow, basically the entire game. You want to talk about a battle. Baltimore and Buffalo has the makings to be a battle. And we'll get more into those games as we get deeper into the week here on Hacker After Dark. But as it has been all night, it's pretty much all about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Coming up next, my buddy Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar. Let's continue the conversation about Trent Baalke, about what Shad Khan should do, what we would do as this head coaching search continues. He joins me next. Wednesday night, Hacker After Dark. Glad you're with us right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Living life on the edge of your seat.
Are you kidding me?
Your front row seat for play-by-play.
Break it free, they're not going to catch you.
1010XL.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Dan and Jeff are going to be live from the brand new showroom at Tyson Sound and Security this Friday. You have to check out Tyson's showroom home theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. Did I mention Friday morning you can enter to win a $2,500 prize giveaway? Bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, now at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Don't go through another year with all that high-interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Prosser here, and Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and personal loans, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. You can. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 904-999-1508, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free quote now with no hard credit pull at 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Ready, aim, inspire. At the 7th Annual Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation Clay Shoot, Thursday, February 20th at Jack's Clay Target Sports. Hi, I'm Paul Martinez, president of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. We've got you covered. Ammo, carts, clays, delicious food, and amazing prizes. Whether you're a sharpshooter or just in it for fun, this event is for you. Support the important work of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida and Mackenzie's Camp Deep Pond. Sign up at bgcnf.org/events.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, billball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Rev up your life with luxury at Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard. Right now, used car prices are 12% lower than their peak in April of 2022, making this the perfect time to drive home in a dream car. Specializing in luxury used vehicles, offering you elegance at prices that are finally coming back down to earth. See special listings in the newspaper every Saturday or online at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Nick in here with a message from Zero Res. Did you have people over for the holidays? Kids everywhere, dirt everywhere, all over the carpets, the rugs, the sofas, and chairs? Did the kitchen tile take a beating? Sounds like it's time to call my guys over at Zero Res. The Zero Res techs will get the house looking great again. Folks, if you need help cleaning up after the holiday, give Zero Res a call. Right now, 25% off carpet cleaning, 25% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res. Spell it forwards. Zero Res. Spell it backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. We are now over a weekend of the Jaguar head coaching search. Obviously, head coaching interviews virtually have begun. Robert Saleh, I believe, will be the first in-person interview that the Jaguars will do. That comes up this Tuesday, and we'll kind of see where this thing goes. Keep in mind, Liam Cohen in Tampa, his season is now over. What does that mean for his candidacy for the Jaguar head coaching position? There's a lot to get into with that. Jordan DeLugo of Generation Jaguar, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jordan, hope everything's going well, man. How are you?
Yeah, you know, we're battling through a little bit of colds, but 'tis the season over here, and we're fired up. You know, it's exciting with all the, NFL playoffs going on, and obviously all the head coaching searches. Mike Vrabel getting hired by the Patriots, which surprises no one, but at least that's one domino down, right? But yeah, I'm excited about just seeing what the future holds here.
There's a lot to get into. I didn't talk with you last week when everything transpired. Doug Peterson out, Trent Baalke remains. Jordan, your immediate reaction to that news early last week?
It was unsurprising, definitely on the Doug front. A little surprising that Trent Baalke didn't get fired, but can you really say it's that surprising? Like, this is kind of what Shad Khan does. He doesn't move on from GMs, and that's kind of what Trent Baalke does. He holds on, he wins power struggles, whatever it may be, however you want to phrase it. Trent Baalke has seen a lot of head coaches fired during his time as a general manager in the NFL.
You know, you have a website that is very, very for the fans, right? I mean, you're very active on social media. I made a point of this last week. There's always a lot of griping here in Jacksonville and complaining, and with good reason. I mean, the team has been awful for the better part of a decade and a half. But, boy, when that news came out last week, Jordan, there were some Jaguar fans, at least on social media, kind of went to a dark place, man. They were not happy about the Trent Baalke news. What did you make of all the negativity from the Jaguar fan base?
Yeah, I think, it's warranted in the sense that, look, Trent Baalke has struggled to win games over the last decade as a general manager. The Jacksonville Jaguars, as an organization, have struggled to win games just about worse than anyone else in the league under Shad Khan's ownership. So, it's just very frustrating that, 4 years of Trevor Lawrence play has yielded one playoff appearance, one playoff win. And I think fans just expected more. And I think that they continue to expect more. And keeping Trent Baalke feels status quo. It feels like just missing out on an opportunity to completely reinvent the Jaguars culture, for lack of a better word, right? And so I get it. And I think the Jaguars, probably the best move would have been to move on from Trent Baalke, and there's still rumors and reports that could happen. I'll believe it when I see it at this point, right?
Well, yeah, and, you talk about Shad Khan's overall record since the beginning of 2012. I mean, we all know it, right? 64 wins, 148 losses. They've lost 70% of their regular season games since Khan bought the team. I mean, that is absolutely horrific. But, Jordan, I make this point all along, and I promise we'll get to the coaching search in a moment, but quickly on Shad, some aspects of him as an owner are spectacular, man. I mean, the resources he gives, from all the money to sign free agents, to all the money to re-sign guys like Trevor and Hines Allen, Campbell, Lewican, like they did last year. I mean, building that brand new Miller Electric Center, state of the art, right? We all know about the scoreboards and the swimming pools and the fan amenities. I mean, keeping the team here in Jacksonville, for crying out loud. He did not have to do that, and he did, and he doesn't meddle with his football people. And that's where I think some of the negative opinion of Shad begins, because there's so much positive that man has done for this organization. But the fact that he is kind of hands-off, at least that's the opinion, does not really strike people well now when the win-loss record is what it is. He talks about his inner circle being, Trent Baalke and people around Baalke. Well, maybe he's getting one side of it, not getting all the sides of the story. And I think, there is the criticism there that maybe he's been too hands-off, and that's why the Jaguars have struggled with him as the owner. What's your response to that?
I would say if you were going to choose one extreme or the other, you would certainly prefer the hands-off owner versus like a Woody Johnson, right? Who is just meddling to the point of making wild, off-the-cuff, rash decisions. You don't want that. You want someone who's kind of in the middle a little bit more than Khan, who, has his finger on the pulse maybe, but still lets things play out. And to be quite frank, folks don't really know how involved Shad Khan is or isn't. It's just a perception. We don't know how much he's paying attention on a day-to-day basis, everything that's, being reported to him and meetings he's having and all that different. We don't really know the extent of which Shad Khan is paying attention to the football team. But yeah, I get why fans would say that. I think ultimately, with the way that Shad Khan has invested both from a, infrastructure standpoint with the organization, from a football standpoint, Miller Electric Center, the stadium, and then obviously the way he's willing to spend in free agency and on coaching staff. He spent a lot of money on coaching staffs. I think overall he's a net positive if you can get a good coach. But the problem is he's had a hard time finding the right balance of GM and coach to really create sustainable winning. And until he's able to find that, I think you're going to continue to see turnover.
Couple of more for Jordan DeLugo of Generation Jaguar. That brings us to the coaching search. Jordan, your reaction when the list of head coaching interview requests was released. And I'll give the Jaguars credit. I mean, a lot of NFL teams do that, but Jacksonville has been out in front of it. They've been very transparent with what they're doing. They sent out that initial list of 8, then they added Brian Flores and Steve Spagnuolo to that list. There's 10 known guys that they've either talked to or are interested in talking to. Of the 10, Jordan, what sticks out to you about the list?
Yeah, I mean, I think initially it was, a little heavy on the offensive side, which comes as no surprise when you have a franchise quarterback, a young receiver, and Brian Thomas Jr., that you really want to make sure you're maximizing those guys. And if you hire a defensive coach, obviously that comes with the questions of how do they handle the offensive side of the ball, which again is critical in this day and age. I mean, both sides of the ball and obviously special teams are all important. But when you have the quarterback and he hasn't been maybe supported the best throughout his young career, you want to make sure you get that part of it right. But now at this point, it's fairly balanced with who they've looked at, offensive guys and defensive guys. I think looking at this job, like even with Trent Baalke in tow, now that the Patriots job is, off, Mike Vrabel is their head coach, I think you could argue this is the best job that's out there, even with Trent Baalke. Baalke hasn't necessarily always seen eye to eye with every coach he's worked with. He hasn't been perfect when it comes to team building. But you have salary cap space to work with. You have an owner that's willing to spend. You have a quarterback. You have a receiver. You have a lot of draft capital. I think it's Chicago and Jacksonville for the best jobs out there right now. And I think when you look at Ben Johnson, I think the Jaguars are very much in that race.
See, that's the interesting thing. Again, Jordan DeLugo of Generation Jaguar, that almost changes like on an hourly basis, right? There's so many reports coming out. I don't know who knows who or who's been talking to who, but you'll see half the reports that say Ben Johnson in Jacksonville is still a thing. You'll see other reports that say Ben Johnson back to Detroit. Maybe Ben Johnson is falling in love with Tom Brady and the ownership out in Las Vegas. It's just rumor season, and the rumors are running rampant with Ben Johnson. Why do you think, and it's kind of a rhetorical question, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway, why do you think Jaguar fans have kind of flocked to Ben Johnson? He seems to be the guy for an overwhelming majority of them.
It's not just Jaguar fans either. I think it's just around the league. Ben Johnson is viewed as this guy who obviously knows how to use his offensive pieces, listens to the guys, studies what they do well, and can implement that into a game plan super well. And it's not just the skill position players. It's not just the offensive linemen. It's also Jared Goff, who was kind of a cast-off when he went to Detroit, and they've turned him into a guy that, from a production standpoint and a winning standpoint, is playing like a top 5 quarterback, even though he's probably only like a top 15 talent at the position, right? So all that's been so impressive. And then you also talk about, in my mind, like the fact that he has been so selective probably shows a level of understanding, smartness that could probably serve him well as a head coach as well, right? Like not just taking any job, because it's hard to keep a job in the NFL as a head coach, and you don't always get more than one opportunity. So taking the opportunity that actually makes sense shows a sign of critical thinking and being pretty smart. So those are the reasons I think Ben Johnson is the clear number one name for a lot of people.
Well, the interesting thing about Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, you can lump him into this as well, is Detroit. We'll see what happens this week against Washington, but they could be playing for a while, whereas Liam Cohen in Tampa, his season ended on Sunday. I mean, we'll see what happens with Joe Brady and Kellen Moore, but these guys that are going to be playing for a while, or at least their teams will be, how much does this muddy up the waters? How complicated does this make it for the Jaguars?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll just be interesting to see it play out, because I do think you've seen teams trend towards waiting a little bit, so they can get their guy if their guy is still coaching in the playoffs, right? So yeah, I think that's very interesting. Liam Cohen, for me, just talking about him as he's no longer in the playoffs, he is my second candidate. I think that a lot of people view that the same way as well. And I just think what he's done with an offense in Tampa that really struggled to run the ball before he got there, they've run the ball really well. And obviously Bucky Irving helps in that regard. But having Baker Mayfield perform at the level he's continuing to perform at, and, dealing with all these injuries, and also having worked under Sean McVay, not only as an offensive coordinator, but as an assistant for several years, and then making the most out of Will Levis during his time at Kentucky. There's just a lot of really positive things about Liam Cohen that have stacked up. And then he seems like a good communicator, someone who can identify with the younger generation. And I think that's another thing with Ben Johnson too. Some of these younger coaches, I just think they have their finger on the pulse of the younger generation coming up more than say a coach that's in his 50s or 60s.
Jordan, as we begin to wrap up, and I tend to agree with you, I tend to be more Liam Cohen after Ben Johnson. Liam Cohen would probably be my number 2. I really like Aaron Glenn. But I got to tell you, man, the more time that goes by, the Joe Brady thought is starting to grow on me a little bit as well. What's your opinion on Brady, and why do you think, and I'm even asking you for myself, quite frankly, why do you think guys like me and you kind of have Cohen over Brady right now?
I just think the job he's had to do has been more difficult, right? Like when Joe Brady really rose to national prominence and NFL recognition is when he was the passing game coordinator for Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson, right? So, I mean, it could get a little bit more difficult than that. And then he was offensive coordinator for the Panthers. That didn't work out. I do think he got scapegoated a little bit because of a bad situation going on there. And then, his next job is coaching maybe the biggest freak alien quarterback of all time in Josh Allen. So when you look at what Liam Cohen has done and who he's done it with, it's just a little bit more impressive. And same thing with Ben Johnson, in my opinion.
Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar, certainly an interesting time for Jaguar fans. We'll see what happens with the head coaching search. We got the divisional playoff round coming up this weekend. Jordan, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about Generation Jaguar and what they can look forward to in the coming week.
Yeah, we'll be covering all the coaching news. We'll be talking about all the different head coaching candidates as we've continued to do. Mock draft just dropped this morning where we kind of went into an example of what could happen if Ben Johnson is the hire in Jacksonville, talking about some free agency moves, some mock draft as well, where it's kind of like a Detroit Lions true grit version of the offseason. A lot of fun. You can check that out. But we're just going to continue to cover this offseason and have some fun doing it.
Jordan, I know you're busy. Thank you for taking time out, man. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hacker.
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
And thank you to Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark, continuing the conversation about the Jaguar head coaching search as we put a finishing touch. I guess, what is this, day number 9 of the search? Kind of days are running together now. And look, I don't expect anything to happen for a while, right? You're probably talking in between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl would be my best bet. And if that's the case, I mean, you're still talking, 11 days minimum until the Jaguars probably have a new head coach. Could it happen before then? Yeah, it could, but I wouldn't expect it to, because there are some guys the Jaguars can't even talk to for another week or so. So it's going to be a process one would expect, and that's why the only job you've seen fill is New England, right? I mean, they were filled in a week after firing Gerard Mayo. They knew Mike Vrabel was their guy. They hired Vrabel. But you look, and whether it's Dallas, who just opened, but you look at the Saints, the Bears, the Jets, the Raiders here in Jacksonville, there is a reason that quite a few of these jobs have not filled up yet, and it's because everybody's waiting it out, doing their due diligence, interviewing as many people as they can, gathering as much information as they can for what is obviously a very, very important decision for the direction of their franchise. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very, very busy Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar. Always enjoy the conversation with Jordan. Thank you to Zach Blobner. He's our guy when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's been on the sports scene in Tampa for quite some time. Zach also has a unique perspective, is that he also worked here for a time in the sports industry in Jacksonville. So he knows both markets very well. And we obviously had Zach on to talk about Liam Cohen. Again, the Buccaneers season came to an end on Sunday. Obviously, a lot of Jaguar fans, if they cannot get Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen appears to be a guy that's very high on the list. And I thought it was interesting talking to Zach, who's covered Liam Cohen every day this year, to kind of get his perspective on not only what Liam Cohen did in Tampa, but how he feels Liam Cohen would fit here in Jacksonville. And again, Zach knows a little bit about that from his time he spent here in Duval County. So thank you to Zach Blobner down in Tampa. And back in hour number one, my buddy Leon Searcy, a former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on Prime Time. We're lucky enough to have him weekly here on Hacker After Dark as we talk the Jaguar coaching search, certainly, but we also spent some time on the divisional round of the playoffs. 4 really good games coming up this weekend to decide who will advance to the conference championship games. We will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Wednesday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Thursday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.